You apologize for having needs. You feel guilty for wanting rest. You convince yourself that your happiness comes last. This isn't kindness. This is self-abandonment disguised as virtue. Look around you. Everyone who seems to have their life together has mastered one simple truth. They put themselves first. Not in a cruel way, not by stepping on others, but by understanding that their well-being is the foundation upon which everything else stands. You've been taught the opposite. You've been programmed to believe that good people sacrifice, that loving people give until it hurts, that worthy people put everyone else's needs before their own. This programming is destroying you from the inside out. Think about your last week. How many times did you say yes when every fiber of your being wanted to say no? How many times did you smile and agree when you felt like screaming? How many moments did you spend meeting other people's expectations while your own soul withered away? This isn't love. This isn't goodness. This is the slow suicide of your authentic self. You see, there's a difference between being loving and being a doormat. There's a difference between being kind and being a martyr. There's a difference between being generous and being a pushover. The culture you live in has convinced you these things are the same. They're not. When you constantly put others first, you're not being noble. You're being dishonest. You're lying to yourself about what you need. You're lying to others about who you really are. You're creating relationships built on false premises and wondering why they feel hollow. Your mother-in-law calls at dinner time wanting to talk for hours. You answer because saying no feels cruel. Your friend consistently shows up late to your plans. You smile and pretend it doesn't matter because confronting her feels mean. Your boss piles extra work on your desk every Friday afternoon. You take it home because saying you're overwhelmed feels weak. Each time you do this, you're not being kind. You're being afraid. Afraid of conflict. Afraid of disappointing people. Afraid of being seen as selfish. But here's what you haven't realized yet. Your fear of being selfish has made you someone who doesn't exist. The person you've become is a collection of everyone else's needs and expectations. Where are you in this equation? Where is your voice? Where are your boundaries? Where is your authentic self? You've disappeared, and the worst part? The people in your life don't even know the real you. They know the version of you that says yes to everything. They know the version that never complains. They know the version that puts their comfort above your own well-being. They're in love with your dysfunction, not with you. This is why your relationships feel exhausting. This is why you feel resentful even when people are being nice to you. This is why you lie awake at night feeling angry and don't even know why. You're angry because you've betrayed yourself so many times that you don't even remember who you used to be. But putting yourself first doesn't mean becoming cruel. It doesn't mean ignoring other people's needs. It doesn't mean becoming selfish in the way you've been taught to fear. It means something far more profound and far more challenging. It means knowing who you are. It means honoring your truth. It means speaking your needs clearly and without apology. It means setting boundaries that protect your energy and your peace of mind. It means saying no without offering 17 explanations and justifications. Here's what happens when you start putting yourself first. At first, people resist. They're used to the old you, the one who said yes to everything, the one who absorbed their stress without complaint, the one who made their life easier by making your own life harder. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. They'll try to guilt you back into your old patterns. And this resistance isn't proof that you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're finally doing something right. The people who truly love you will adjust. They'll respect your boundaries once they understand you're serious about them. They'll appreciate the authentic version of you, even if it's less convenient for them. But some people won't adjust. Some people will disappear from your life. Let them go. Anyone who can only love you when you're sacrificing yourself doesn't actually love you. They love what you do for them. They love how you make them feel. They love the service you provide, but they don't love you. Real love celebrates your boundaries. Real love wants you to take care of yourself. Real love doesn't require you to disappear for it to flourish. You're afraid that putting yourself first will make you lonely. You're terrified that people will abandon you if you stop being available for everything they need. But look at your life right now. You're surrounded by people and you still feel alone. You're in relationships where you can't be yourself. You're loved for who you pretend to be, not for who you actually are. That's the loneliest existence of all. When you put yourself first, you discover something remarkable. The right people stay. The ones who honor your boundaries and respect your needs. the ones who want to know the real you, not the performing version, the ones who understand that your well-being matters as much as theirs. But here's the deeper truth you need to understand. The guilt you feel about putting yourself first isn't coming from your moral compass. It's coming from years of conditioning that taught you your worth depends on how much you sacrifice. You learned this as a child. Maybe your mother praised you when you shared your toys but ignored you when you played alone. Maybe your father paid attention to you only when you were helping him with projects. Maybe your teachers favored you when you put the class needs before your own desires. You learned that love is conditional, that acceptance requires sacrifice, that being good means being small. These lessons carved themselves so deeply into your psyche that now, decades later, the thought of putting yourself first feels like moral failure. But that child who learned these lessons was just trying to survive. They were trying to get love and attention in the only way they knew how. They didn't understand that real love doesn't require you to disappear. They didn't know that authentic relationships are built on truth, not performance. You're not that child anymore. You don't need to earn love by sacrificing yourself. You don't need to prove your worth by meeting everyone else's needs. You don't need to apologize for existing and having desires and boundaries and needs of your own. The guilt you feel is an old program running in the background of your mind. It's not wisdom, it's not intuition, it's not your conscience. It's fear masquerading as morality. Here's how you know the difference. Real guilt comes when you've actually harmed someone. When you've been deliberately cruel or dishonest or hurtful. When you violated your own values or ethics. That guilt serves a purpose. It guides you back to alignment with who you want to be. But the guilt you feel about putting yourself first isn't real guilt, it's manufactured guilt. It's the result of believing that your needs matter less than everyone else's. It's the result of thinking that taking care of yourself is somehow wrong. This guilt will try to convince you that setting boundaries is mean, that saying no is cruel, that taking time for yourself is selfish. Don't listen to it. Listen to your exhaustion instead. Listen to your resentment. Listen to the part of you that feels unseen and unheard and unknown. That part is telling you the truth. You matter, your needs matter, your happiness matters. Your peace of mind matters. Your dreams matter. Your energy matters. Your time matters. You matter. Not more than others, not less than others. Equally, your well-being is just as important as the well-being of every other person in your life. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You stop apologizing for having preferences. You stop feeling guilty for wanting things. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stop living your life according to other people's expectations and start living it according to your own values and desires. This doesn't happen overnight. You've spent years training yourself to put others first. It will take time to retrain your mind and your habits. You'll backslide. You'll catch yourself falling into old patterns. You'll feel guilty when you enforce a boundary or say no to a request. That's normal. That's part of the process. Be patient with yourself as you learn this new way of being. Each time you choose yourself, you're building a stronger foundation. You're creating a life that actually belongs to you. You're developing relationships based on authenticity rather than performance. And here's what you'll discover as you continue this journey. When you put yourself first, you actually become more available to others. Not in the anxious, depleted way you used to be available, but in a grounded, centered, genuinely generous way. When your own cup is full, you can pour into others without resentment. When your own needs are met, you can help others without feeling depleted. When you're taking care of yourself, you can show up for the people you love from a place of overflow rather than emptiness. This is the paradox of putting yourself first. It makes you more capable of loving others authentically. It makes you more present in your relationships. It makes you more generous with your time and energy because you're giving from abundance rather than scarcity. But you have to fill your own cup first. You have to meet your own needs first. You have to take care of your own well-being first. Not because you're more important than others, but because you're equally important. And an empty vessel has nothing to pour. So start today. Start small. Notice where you automatically say yes when you want to say no. Notice where you apologize for things that don't require apology. Notice where you shrink yourself to make others comfortable. And then make a different choice. Say no without explanation. Express your preference without apology, take up space without shrinking, honor your needs without guilt. The people who belong in your life will adjust, the ones who don't will reveal themselves. Either way, you win. Because you'll finally be living as yourself rather than as everyone else's expectations. You'll discover that putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's essential. It's not cruel, it's honest, it's not wrong. It's the only way to live a life that actually belongs to you. Your needs matter, your happiness matters, your peace of mind matters. You matter. Not because of what you do for others, not because of how you make other people feel, but simply because you exist. You have the right to take care of yourself. You have the right to set boundaries. You have the right to say no. You have the right to prioritize your own well-being. You have the right to live according to your own values rather than everyone else's expectations. Stop apologizing for being human. Stop feeling guilty for having needs. Stop convincing yourself that your happiness comes last. Put yourself first, always. Without guilt, your life depends on it. The world doesn't need another martyr. It doesn't need another person who sacrifices themselves for others. It needs you, the real you, the authentic you, the you who knows their worth and honors their truth and takes care of their own well-being. That's the you who can make a real difference in this world. That's the you who can love others genuinely rather than compulsively. That's the you who can create relationships based on truth rather than performance. And that's the you who deserves to be happy. Not eventually. Not after everyone else is taken care of. Not when circumstances are perfect. Now, today, exactly as you are. You matter. Remember that. Never. Live from that truth. And watch everything in your life transform when you finally understand this truth. Really understand it in your bones. You'll notice something profound happening around you. The energy you carry changes, the way people respond to you shifts, the opportunities that come your way expand. This isn't magic. This is what happens when you stop betraying yourself and start honoring your truth. You'll walk into rooms differently, you'll speak differently, you'll make decisions differently. Because you're no longer operating from a place of fear and people-pleasing, you're operating from a place of self-respect and authentic power. People will notice this change in you. Some will be curious about what's different, others will be threatened by your newfound confidence. The ones who are threatened are revealing something important about themselves. They were benefiting from your old patterns. They were comfortable with your self-abandonment because it made their lives easier. Don't let their discomfort pull you back into old habits. The resistance to your growth is not your responsibility to manage. Your job is to continue honoring yourself, even when others don't understand or approve. And here's something beautiful that will happen as you continue this journey. You'll start attracting different kinds of people into your life. People who respect boundaries. People who appreciate authenticity. People who understand that healthy relationships require two whole people, not one person sacrificing themselves for another. These new relationships will feel different. Easier, more natural. You won't have to perform or pretend or sacrifice pieces of yourself to maintain them. You'll be able to show up as you are and know that you're accepted and valued for exactly that. When you put yourself first consistently, you begin to develop a relationship with yourself based on respect rather than judgment. You start to trust your own instincts. You begin to appreciate your own company. You discover that you actually like who you are when you're not trying to be what everyone else wants you to be. This self-acceptance changes everything. It changes how you move through the world. It changes what you're willing to accept from others. It changes what you believe you deserve. And what you believe you deserve directly impacts what you receive. You'll stop accepting crumbs of affection and start expecting genuine care. You'll stop tolerating disrespectful treatment and start requiring respect. You'll stop settling for relationships that drain you and start seeking ones that energize you. This isn't about becoming demanding or difficult. This is about recognizing your own value and insisting that others recognize it too. This is about understanding that you teach people how to treat you by what you're willing to accept. When you consistently put yourself first, you're teaching the world that you matter, that your needs are valid, that your boundaries are real, that your well-being is important, and the world will respond accordingly. Remember, putting yourself first, always without guilt, isn't a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. It's a moment-by-moment choice to honor yourself rather than abandon yourself. Some days will be easier than others. Some situations will test your resolve more than others. But every time you choose yourself, you're building strength, you're creating new neural pathways, you're establishing new patterns. You're becoming the person you were meant to be before the world taught you to be small. You have one life, one precious, irreplaceable life. You can spend it trying to make everyone else happy while you disappear. Or you can spend it honoring your truth, pursuing your dreams, and creating a life that actually belongs to you. The choice is yours, and it's time to choose yourself. Every morning when you wake up, you have this opportunity again. Will you honor yourself today? Will you listen to your inner voice? Will you respect your own needs and boundaries? Or will you fall back into the familiar pattern of abandoning yourself for everyone else's comfort? This opportunity matters more than you realize. Because each time you choose yourself, you're not just making a decision for that moment, you're building a foundation. You're creating evidence for your subconscious mind that you matter. You're proving to yourself that you're worthy of care and consideration. Your subconscious mind has been programmed for years to believe the opposite. It has volumes of evidence that other people's needs come first, that your worth depends on your usefulness, that love requires sacrifice of self. Each time you choose yourself, you're updating this programming, you're creating new evidence, you're rewriting the story of who you are and what you deserve. This process takes time. Your nervous system has been conditioned to feel safe when you're people-pleasing and anxious when you're setting boundaries. Your brain has learned to interpret self-care as danger and self-sacrifice as safety. These patterns didn't develop overnight, and they won't change overnight either. Be gentle with yourself as you undergo this transformation. Notice when your body tenses up as you prepare to say no. Acknowledge the anxiety that arises when you're about to set a boundary. Recognize the guilt that floods through you when you prioritize your own needs. These are normal responses to breaking old patterns. Breathe through these uncomfortable feelings instead of avoiding them. Remind yourself that discomfort is not danger. That anxiety doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. That guilt is often a sign you're doing something right for yourself. And celebrate every small victory along the way. Celebrate the time you said no without explaining yourself. Celebrate the moment you expressed your preference without apologizing. Celebrate the day you took care of yourself without feeling guilty about it. These moments matter. They're building blocks of your new life. Your transformation doesn't just affect you. It ripples out into every relationship you have. Your children learn what self-respect looks like by watching you. Your friends discover that healthy boundaries are possible. Your colleagues realize that saying no can be done with kindness. Your family sees that taking care of yourself doesn't mean you love them less. You become a living example of what's possible when someone chooses themselves consistently. You show others that self-abandonment isn't noble, it's tragic. You demonstrate that putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's essential. You prove that you can love others deeply while also loving yourself completely. This is your legacy. Not the sacrifices you made, or the times you said yes when you meant no, but the courage you showed in choosing yourself, the strength you demonstrated in honoring your truth, the love you gave yourself that then overflowed to everyone around you. You are worthy of this love. You are deserving of this respect. You are entitled to this care, not because of what you accomplish or how well you serve others, but because you exist, because you breathe, because you are a human being with inherent value that no one can diminish or take away. Stop waiting for permission to live your own life. Stop looking for validation to honor your own needs. Stop seeking approval to be yourself. The permission you're waiting for can only come from you. The validation you're seeking must start within you. The approval you crave begins with accepting yourself exactly as you are. Your authentic self has been waiting patiently for you to return. The time for that reunion is now. But understand that choosing yourself is not a destination, it's a daily practice. A moment-by-moment decision. A continuous choosing of your truth over your conditioning. Some days this will feel natural and easy, other days the old programming will feel stronger. The guilt will be louder, the fear of disappointing others will feel overwhelming. These difficult days are not failures, they're information. They're showing you where your old patterns still have power over you. They're revealing which situations trigger your people-pleasing tendencies. They're highlighting the areas where you still need to strengthen your commitment to yourself. Use these moments as teachers rather than reasons to give up. Ask yourself what happened. What made you abandon yourself in that moment? What fear got triggered? What old belief system took over? What would you do differently next time? This self-awareness is how you break the cycle. This conscious examination of your patterns is how you create lasting change. This willingness to learn from your setbacks is how you build unshakable self-respect. And remember that the people around you are also learning. They're adjusting to the new you. They're testing your boundaries to see if you really mean what you say. And they're processing their own discomfort with your changes. Some will adapt quickly. They'll appreciate the more authentic version of you. They'll respect your boundaries and enjoy the healthier dynamic you've created. These relationships will deepen and become more satisfying for everyone involved. Others will struggle with your transformation. They'll push harder against your boundaries. They'll escalate their demands. They'll try to guilt you back into your old patterns. They'll make you question whether you're doing the right thing. This resistance is not evidence that you should go back to sacrificing yourself. It's evidence that your boundaries are working. It's proof that you were being taken advantage of before. It's confirmation that some people in your life valued your compliance more than your well-being. Stay strong during these tests. Remember that you're not responsible for managing other people's reactions to your growth. You're not obligated to sacrifice yourself to keep others comfortable. You're not required to set yourself on fire to keep anyone else warm. Your job is to continue choosing yourself, to keep honoring your truth, to maintain your boundaries even when others challenge them, to remember that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's approval or understanding. And as you continue this practice, something beautiful will happen. The right people will stay. The healthy relationships will flourish. The toxic dynamics will dissolve. Your life will begin to reflect your actual values rather than your fears. You'll look around one day and realize that you're surrounded by people who genuinely care about your well-being, who respect your boundaries, who appreciate your authenticity, who love you for who you are, not for what you do for them. This is what becomes possible when you consistently choose yourself. This is the life that waits for you on the other side of your fear. This is what you deserve. This is what you've always deserved. The choice is yours, and it's time to choose yourself. But let's be honest about what this journey really looks like, because putting yourself first isn't always comfortable. There will be moments when the guilt feels overwhelming, when the voice in your head screams that you're being selfish, when everyone around you seems to confirm your worst fears about what it means to prioritize yourself. These moments are tests. They're opportunities to prove to yourself that you're serious about this change. They're chances to demonstrate that your commitment to yourself runs deeper than your fear of other people's opinions. You'll have conversations that feel impossible. You'll set boundaries that make others angry. You'll disappoint people who are used to getting their way with you. And in those moments, you'll want to go back to the old way of being. It felt safer there, easier, less complicated, but remember what that old way cost you. Remember the resentment that built up inside you. Remember the exhaustion that followed you everywhere. Remember the feeling of being unknown even by the people closest to you. Remember the hollow ache of living a life that didn't belong to you. That's what you're leaving behind. That's what you're healing from. That's what you refuse to accept anymore. And as you practice putting yourself first, you'll develop skills you never knew you needed. You'll learn how to have difficult conversations with grace. You'll discover how to set boundaries without being cruel. You'll master the art of saying no while still being kind. These aren't skills they teach you in school. They're not lessons your parents probably knew how to give you, but they're essential for living an authentic life. They're necessary for creating relationships based on truth rather than manipulation. You'll also discover parts of yourself that have been buried for years. Dreams you abandoned because they seemed selfish. Interests you ignored because others didn't understand them. Talents you suppressed because they made others uncomfortable. Opinions you never expressed because they didn't align with what people expected from you. As you put yourself first, these hidden parts of you will start to emerge. You'll remember what you actually enjoy doing. You'll reconnect with your own preferences and desires. You'll rediscover your voice and learn to use it. This process of rediscovering yourself can be overwhelming. You might realize you've been living someone else's life for so long that you don't even know who you really are anymore. You might feel lost or confused as you try to separate your authentic desires from the expectations you've internalized. Be patient with this process. Give yourself time to explore. Try new things. Say no to old commitments that no longer serve you. Create space in your life for the unknown parts of yourself to emerge. And remember that putting yourself first doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you care about yourself too. It means you include yourself in the circle of people who deserve love and consideration and respect. When you operate from this place of self-inclusion rather than self-exclusion, your capacity to love others actually expands, because you're no longer trying to get your needs met through other people. You're no longer expecting them to fill the void that self-abandonment created. You're no longer unconsciously resenting them for not giving you what you refuse to give yourself. You become free to love others for who they are rather than for what they can do for you. You become capable of genuine generosity because you're giving from overflow rather than deficit. You become able to be present with others because you're not constantly monitoring their reactions to see if you're acceptable. This is the gift you give to the world when you put yourself first. Not another depleted person trying to earn love through sacrifice, but a whole person who knows their worth and can recognize and honor the worth of others. Your liberation becomes an invitation for others to liberate themselves. Your boundaries become permission for others to set their own. Your self-respect becomes a model for how relationships can function when both people matter equally. This is how you change the world. Not by sacrificing yourself for others, but by becoming so authentically yourself that you inspire others to do the same. By showing what's possible when someone refuses to abandon themselves for anyone or anything. Stop abandoning yourself for a world that never asked you to disappear.